Hi everyone, welcome to our annual mapping workshop. If we haven't met yet, my name's Sarah. I am a previous designer turned digital strategist and a certified Notion consultant. During today's chat, I want to walk you through how to remove the chaos from your creative workflow with a single system known as my annual mapping method. And I just want to make a quick note that if implemented correctly, this process will in fact allow your sales and marketing matrix to 10x your business. Trust me, I know. This exact method is how I was able to build 29 websites and 15 full brand packages in 2021. That does not include day rate offers or any Notion builds. So we are going to dive right in, but before we do, as I always like to say, grab some coffee. We're gonna do this analog style, so grab a notebook, grab a pen, turn off all of your distractions so you are ready to tap into your badass CEO self. So what I would love for you to do is drop a fire emoji in the chat if you feel like you have had a hard time figuring out how to balance multiple services, but are afraid of dropping one, losing potential income by saying no. If you have not taken a vacation as a freelancer, if you are trying to heal your creative burnout while also feeling the pressure to consistently book projects, no matter how far out in advance it may be, you are tired of being afraid to raise your rates, you don't know how to raise your rates, and ultimately saying no to clients because of your bandwidth. I want you to drop that fire emoji into the chat. So all of that, thinking about those feelings, thinking about how frustrated you are, how burnt out you are, I want to introduce you to my annual mapping method. It is a naming convention, first and foremost, that helps you determine your availability, take vacation, raise your rates, and balance multiple services at once without burnout. And it really is the trifecta. So how the hell do you use this magic process? I'm going to teach you in this workshop today. So annual mapping is a 3-step process, but it only works, okay? This is the secret sauce. It only works if you maintain and prune it. LOL, that's a plant joke because I'm a plant mom. If you prune it often, this system will not work for you, okay? It will not work for you if you spend time focusing on working in your business rather than on your business. Today, if you are going to implement this, you have to make that transition or this will not work for you, all right? So make sure that you have some paper because we are going to go old school. I don't want you doing this digitally. I want you to write this down analogically, if that's a word. I want you to do this analog style, do it old school, because once you learn how to do it on paper, doing it digitally will make so much more sense, okay? But doing it digitally, I feel in my massive expertise that it is just a tad overwhelming. If you're trying to plug things in and figure things out, just write it down, get messy, scratch stuff out if it doesn't work, and get ready for this transformation. Okay, so like I mentioned, this is a 3-step process. So the first step, what I want you to do is list out all of your services. And then from there, I want you to come up with a 2 to 3 letter code, a naming convention code for every service you have. So I have some examples here. So if we were doing branding, for instance, BR would be a perfect naming convention. You could also do you could do branding design if you wanted to, and you could do BD. Then we have web design, WD. But then here's where that 3 code will really come into play is when you are combining packages together, such as doing brand and web design. This is where you'll want to use 3 letters instead of 2. So BWD, brand web design, okay? Then you may have a VIP offer, so VD. You could also do VIP if you want. And then you have retainer. So retainer specifically is ad hoc design. Maybe you have kind of a subscription model. You really want to list those out as well because that's going to be something different than a one-off brand project, okay? So go ahead, take a few minutes and list out the codes that you have. Okay. So now that you have those codes down, the next thing that we're going to do is set our income goals and the offer need for each service. So if you are, let's say for branding, you charge an average of $5K per package, okay? That's no add-ons. We're not doing value-based pricing here. So I also want to make that note is if you are doing value-based pricing, please stop. It is not worth your time. We can talk about that in a different workshop, but for this instance, I want you to list out flat rates. So if you are doing value-based pricing, you absolutely should still have a base number that you start with and then go up from there. So let's say we're doing branding for $5K, and let's go ahead and do web design. Maybe you charge, I don't know. Let's say I'm trying to make easy math. Let's do 2.5K for a basic website, right? So these are your offers. We're just going to do those two to make it easy. All right, so with your goal, what I want you to do is come up with your annual income goal. So from there, do you want to make 100K? Do you want to make 50K a year? What is the number that you want to earn? There's no right or wrong answer here. Every single answer that comes through your mind is valid. You don't have to make 6 figures, guys. You don't have to do it, okay? So let's go ahead and say that we want to make 50K in 2022, okay? So from there, what we want to do is divide 50K by how many services we have. So for this example, we have 2 services. So if you have more, it's just divide that by the total number you have, which means that we need to earn 25K per service for an even balance in your business, okay? So I want you to forget about how many things you're booking. You are choosing to list out these services. You need to divide it as such, okay? I'm going to talk to you about marketing and sales here in a little while in our next step. But for right now, we need 25K per service to earn 50K. All right, so now with that 25K, you need to know how many services or how many offers do you need to book in order to hit that 25K. All right, so listen, I am not a math major. I have a degree in American history, so we are pulling this calculator out. So if we want to earn $25,000 off of a 5K brand package, that's not right. 25,000. Oh, y'all. 25,000 divided by 5,000. We need 5 brand packages throughout 2022. All right. And if we're doing web design at 2.5, we have 25,000 divided by 2,500. That means we need 10 web packages. All right. I'm hoping that this is making sense for you. Very simple math. If you feel like having decimals or odd numbers, I know a lot of people charge $2,850 for web design. Don't really know where that number comes from. Just round up. Just charge $3,000. Okay. Make this easy on yourself. So now we know that we need 15 clients in order to reach 50K in 2022. All right, and we're going to start building out our annual mapping calendar, okay? So how your full naming convention should work for this is we want to do year, offer, and number needed, all right? So our offers were, let's say, what did we do? BR for branding, and we need how many packages? We need 4. So for branding, we are looking at 2022-BR1, 2022-BR2, and so on until you get to the number that you need, okay? So for this instance, we need 4. For web design, we're going to do the same exact thing. And 2022 I think we said WD1, and we need 7. So it's going to take a second, but it is worth it. Trust me. Okay, so while I'm doing this, I want you to go ahead and list out your naming conventions with how many services you need to book for the remainder of the year. Or rather, pretend this is January, right? So we're saying we want to earn 50K in the full year. So just pretend it is December, you're planning for January, and this is going to be spread out through the entire year. All right, and then I'm going to actually go ahead and leave brand and web full combined packages out of this for this example, but just know you need to do this for every single one, all right? So to build out our calendar, the next thing that I want you to do is list out what you do in every single offer and the amount of time it takes. So for branding, and for those who don't know, I was kind of known for an offer called Website in a Week. So I, from this process, was able to knock down website projects from 3 weeks to 10 business days. Because I was able to template and automate things, that really cut down my time and also allowed me to have more availability. Because the secret with annual mapping is that you do not overlap your deliverables at any point. So you're only taking one client per offer at a time, but you're then overlapping that with your other offers, and it'll make sense in a second. So let's start with branding. So our branding projects are, let's say, 3 weeks, and web design for your example, I'm going to go ahead and say 4 weeks to make this easy. So we look at a full calendar, okay? So for branding, let's go through and list out what we do. So if it takes 3 weeks, what do you do in week 1? Chances are you do strategy plus creative direction. Week 2, you're doing the actual development. So you're doing the logos, you're finding the colors, you're putting it all together. Week 3, we are doing maybe implementing and handoff, okay? So you're handing off the project. All right, so let's go ahead and do that again for web design. So I want you to be doing this for your services. I'm just giving you examples. So week 1, we are doing strategy plus CD. That should always be your first point of touch with your clients. Week 2, maybe your wireframing. Week 3, actually we should say, yeah, we'll just say build here. Week 3, we are waiting for client review. And week 4 is training plus handoff, okay? So just keeping in mind, we're making this example as easy as possible. So now what I want you to do is build out your calendar. So as I mentioned, we don't want to overlap any deliverable, and we only want one project at a time. So as you can see, week 1 is kind of the same here, but we don't have anything for week 4 for branding. So while we are not having anything for branding, that is when we should be doing our most work in our web design. So here's our calendar example for you to show you how to overlap. So within here, make this bigger. All right. So for our calendar, we're going to say week 1, all right? So from here, we are going to do 2022 BR1. They are going to be on strategy plus creative direction, which means week 1 for web design 1, you should be onboarding your next client, okay? So you're onboarding this client. Now, moving into week 2, we will now be in the development phase for branding, which means we should not be building websites. This is where the majority of our creative work is going to live, is with this client doing the actual development work, okay? So for website 1, this would be their strategy plus creative direction, because that should not take you more than 2 hours to have that call, to kind of figure out what your wireframe is going to be. You should not spend more than an afternoon working on that. And if you steal what I used to do, which is I actually had all of my websites pre-built in Squarespace, and based on the conversation that I would have with a client, whether they were e-commerce, nonprofit, education, I already had all of my wireframes built. So all I had to do was plug in their information and customize it. The wireframes were done. So for me, that is really how I was able to do websites so fast, because I wasn't sitting here, laying out pages. I just had to duplicate the page in Squarespace, or the website in Squarespace, and then plug the stuff in. So now in week 3, we are implementing and handing off our branding project, which means that should maybe take you an hour. Okay. If you're implementing, some people like to override people's, social media channels, all of those things. That may take you longer. I used to do that and I said no more. So that made my handoff way easier. But, giving all the files, downloading things, naming things appropriately, sometimes that takes a little bit, but it's not heavy lifting mindset work. Okay. That is the whole point of this, is that you are overlapping your projects. So you are not burning out across the board. You're able to funnel that down to only really focus on one project at a time. So that means for your website project, you would be in the build period for week 3. And then for week 4, you actually have nothing to do anymore with BR1, which means you can have one of 2 things. Okay? Which means you can have a vacation week. All right? You can onboard a new client. All right? Or you could spend the time marketing. Okay? So because you have the space there, there's so much you can do. And we're going to get back to that in a little while. But now on Web Design 1, what do we have left to do? It's week 4, so training plus handoff, which really means, because you have pre-recorded your Squarespace trainings, which means that you can kind of just have a full week off, guys. Like training and handoff, if you are pre-recording your Squarespace or Show It or whatever trainings for your client, handoff should be very simple. Okay, so this is going to be your calendar example. All right, so I want you to start plugging this in just like you would, how I did it here. All right, so now when it comes to bringing on more clients and really utilizing this map to your own advantage, what I want you to do is build in the habit of reviewing this calendar at least every 60 to 90 days. In full transparency, you should be looking at this weekly, because if you use my template, this is where all your client portals and stuff will actually live, is under this project code. If you have Notion for Designers, you know that this is the method to my madness there. And if you don't know, you should go grab Notion for Designers. Shameless plug right there. But within your review and refine period, okay, so I mentioned you need to be looking at this every 60 to 90 days. And so at that point, you should be able to see what are you selling and what are you not selling, all right? So if you are, sitting here saying, I want to book 8 brand projects because that's the amount of money that I want to make, but no one is reaching out to you about branding, they're only reaching out to you about web design, you probably need to switch this up, okay? Which means you need to remove the branding and offer up more web design projects. And then you need to raise your rates, right? If you are consistently getting inquiries about your services, whether it's branding, web, or both, you need to be raising your rates, because the demand is there. And how I recommend raising your rates is just going at a $500 increase each time. So if you're raising your rates every 6 months, that's another $1,000 a year, which is not drastic, okay? People are not going to sit here and go, oh my God, she's so expensive. No, they're not going to do that. So within this review and refine, again, we want to look every 90 days. And also too, I should mention that if you aren't booking the service that you want, but you are so gung-ho on, I want to do branding, but you're not booking branding, that means that your marketing needs to change, okay? Because if you are someone on Instagram, if you're one of those designers or service providers in general. I know a lot of people may watch this that aren't exactly a designer. This works for everybody as long as you're service-based business, okay? But if you are one of those people who are consistently only showing your portfolio on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, but you're not actually marketing what you want to work on, people are only going to go off of what they see. So if you're sitting here and you're consistently booking web projects, but you want to do branding, you need to jump in and you need to start doing project briefs. You need to start showing off, even if it's you resharing work, redo those mock-ups, like show what you want to be booked for. And that is really, I think, kind of the secret to annual mapping, is that this will literally spell out what your marketing method needs to look like, what your content calendar needs to reflect. Again, if you are trying to also bring in a new service, you can kind of sprinkle that in. What I like to recommend if you are launching a new service, maybe, again, here, great example, you've been doing branding for a while, people keep asking you to do websites, you're not really sure yet. What I would recommend is book in a web project once a quarter. So you only need 4 a year, once a quarter, one every 3 months, to see if this is going to work for you. You may do one and get 10 inquiries, and then you can switch your calendar up. But again, that is why you need to be looking at this this calendar consistently, all right? And refining and reviewing what that'll look like for you. So we can go ahead and we've kind of been recapping this whole time. So, creating the naming convention, then you want to set the income goal, determine your offer, overlap your services, and review and refine, okay? So I do have an annual mapping template for Notion that you can absolutely steal from me. I will put the link down below. This training is also linked in the template, so you can watch this as many times as you want. But as you'll notice, this is a database in Notion that this is exactly what the template looks like. It is an overview of your projects. So like I mentioned at the beginning of this training, this is really important also for you to take vacation. So I mentioned that last year I built 29 websites and 15 full brand packages. I also took 3 full weeks of vacation last year, spread out strategically between the spring, the summer, and around Christmas. So how I do that is by not only mapping in my services, but mapping in my availability. So as you can see here on line 3, there's an entry that says NA-000, so not available, out of office, right? So booking in your vacation. So if we know that we're going to Disney, August 1st through August 8th, this needs to be tagged as not available, which means that when someone reaches out to you, there's 2 reasons why this is important. The first is if someone reaches out to work with you, you know at all times in real time what your availability is. So if someone reaches out mid-July and says, I want to work with you in August, are you available for a brand package? You can see right here in August 1st through the 8th, no, I'm actually not available then. Okay, well, what is my next availability? Well, it looks like my next brand package is going to be August 8th through August 26th. It is available. Okay, so the other key here is that when you are under proposal negotiation, you are not giving dates to more than one client at a time. Okay, I'm going to say it quieter, secreter for the people in the back. You are not giving these dates to more than one person at a time. And how you do that is you only allow 72 hours for proposal approval, okay? So when someone reaches out to you and they say, would love August 8th through August 26th, you're going to go into your CRM and you're going to tag them here and change that date to under negotiation. So that way, if they approve the proposal, you will move that to onboarding, or if they decline it, you will move it back to available. So I've had a lot of times in the past few years that I have been booked out multiple months in advance because of this system, all right? Because I'm spreading things out. You're still getting paid your deposits, you're making money regularly, but you have consistent work being booked out, all right? So let's say that someone wants to work with you in July, you give those dates. Someone previously said that they don't want to work with you until August, but then those July dates fall through. The person cancels, they decide, I don't want to work with you, they decline their proposal. Now, those people in August, you can go back to and say, well, actually, I had a cancellation in July, in July. Would you like those dates instead? We could push your project up a couple of weeks. What do you think? Perfect, cool. You also could just use that time to market, create content, to offer a couple VIP days, to reach out to past clients and do some quick work for them. You don't have to be booked every single day, every single week of every single month throughout the year, okay? This really, if you implement this successfully, you can balance your life out. If you want to take 5 weeks of vacation, baby girl, go for it. If you want to take a whole month off, particularly, we never worked with clients after Thanksgiving. We always took December off to clean up our business, clean up our processes, and use that time to start booking for after Christmas. That's the secret there too, right? No one wants to work on a website the week before Christmas. They don't want to have strategy calls. They want to have Christmas parties. And so you can use December then to start booking Q1. So if you have these dates ready to go by Thanksgiving, you can spend all of December marketing. You can do Black Friday deals, you can do Christmas deals, you can do New Year's deals, and have all of Q1 booked out before January 1st. And I know because I've done it for several years in a row. So I just want to go over final thoughts within this template. You also have the ability to tag clients as terminated, completed. If you do support periods with your website projects, you can know at all times what status a project is at, okay? So it's super useful. And this is actually what the template looks like when you download it. So there's a recording here. If you don't actively already have Notion, I've already given you a CRM in here. But if you are active, how to switch it to your own CRM database. It is all here for you. And then actually, if you're in Notion for Designers, if you click open this page, just pretend we're in Notion for Designers, this empty space here is actually your client workspace. So this is how we manage all of our clients, our client portals, everything. And I even went so far as to also give you a status process for what phase of a project it's on. So while you see WD1 is in progress, what part of the process are they in? So for instance, creative direction, onboarding, strategy, review, etc. So hopefully that was helpful. Let's go back. If you have any questions about annual mapping, I would love for you to drop them in the comments. Let me know how I can support you. Take a screenshot, take a picture of your annual map, tag me over on Instagram or Twitter, and show off your new system because I would love to see it. I think that this is probably the most brilliant thing I've ever created in my life. I know that it works. I know people who have implemented it have also made it work for them too. So I absolutely know that it will work for you 100%. But the only thing I am going to say is don't overcomplicate the system. Start with the basics. If you have 6 offers, I also probably didn't mention that either. If you have 6 offers and you're kind of at a point where you're not sure if you want to do one or keep it on your roster, but again, you're consistently booking more and more of one thing versus another, this is also your time to remove those. If you have offers like a VIP day, you fucking hate running VIP days, pop a couple into your annual map. If they don't sell, drop it off your website. It's not going to hurt anybody, okay? I give you permission to make full decisions about what you are offering and when in your business and build those boundaries, okay? So again, this is the secret sauce of how I was able to do everything that I did last year. And I just want to say, if you are interested in having this full system, if you are interested in having a better system for your business, Notion for Designers is going to be perfect for you. It's an entire OS system built for creatives by me. It covers literally every single experience you could have with a client. It will cover your butt, okay? And because you are watching this, I want to just kind of go over it very quickly that more than 345 designers at this point have purchased the bundle. And what's included, there are dashboards, templates. We even have templates provided by my friends over at Design Ally to give you a fully legal, protected, fail-proof contract. It's a $10,000 value. They've also provided you with email communication templates that reference your contract. So if a client's not paying you, you have the legal language to reach out to them. There's other things in here that I'm providing you with, such as copywriting templates, strategy questionnaires, onboarding, offboarding checklists, feedback request forms, how to sign off on design approval. All of those things are here for you. And because you are watching this training, I want to give you a little bit of a discount for sitting through me talking about systems. So if you are interested in grabbing Notion for Designers for yourself, all you have to do is use code NFD197 at checkout, and you'll get $197 off either bundle. I don't care which bundle. You decide what's best for you. The biggest difference is if you do buy into the Ultimate, you get one-on-one setup support from me. You have a direct line of contact to me. You get all of those email legal templates, not just the contract. And then also you get my retainer client ticketing system. So if you have a lot of retainer clients, I have a full separate system for you for that. So again, just use that code NFD197 at checkout. Please don't give it to your friends though. Make them watch this workshop first, change their life, change their business, and then let them have my discount. So that being said, thank you so much for coming to today's workshop. Class is dismissed. Go on your way. Make badass CEO decisions in your business, and I can't wait to see how this changes the trajectory of your business, the success of it, and make sure to tag me, share all of those wins with me, and I will see you very soon.